Wagwan sports fans, welcome back to another very special episode of Studio Talks. I'm your host Joe Meyer,
I'm Rush.
and this is This or That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting, and riveting sports topics, discussions, and debates on the internet.
Yes, people, but before we get into studio talk, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment on the video, and subscribe to this or that Sports TV. The one more thing for us, though.
Share the video to at least 10 people, but ensure to get us just 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that get us by the end of the day?
Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Yes, people, welcome back to Studio Talk. It's been doing well. I said people, I kind of like it. They might watch it. The video is now under 1,000 views. Someone like it. How you feel like the first couple of episodes go, bro?
As you know, bro, it's like Midas. Anything we put on them pan, I go. People are just joke me. I get up hype. Yeah, been going pretty well. The discussions have been smooth, the transitions them nice, the editing both or whatever. So we
Yeah.
just continue to grow from strength to strength and hopefully the people them share it. And the next thing you can know, we that are the next first things first or first take. Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, for sure. So before we get into this in today's show, I wanted to give them a quick rundown of the shows that we have for today. Give them the lineup.
Well, we'll kick it off with our Jamaican national under 17 reggae boys. They are going to be in action very soon, and me and Rush will be speaking about that at length. After that, then we'll be talking about the Jamaican national teams in general. The reggae girls, the reggae boys, the youth squads. What can we expect from them in 2023? How many trophies can we expect from them in 2023? How well do you expect them to do? And lastly, we'll be talking about
Schoolboys that are doing well in the JPL. Come on, man. That's up. That's up. Like every blank while ago.
people. The producer. I gotta have a word in me on that one. Something wrong with
The teleprompter glitch out.
the teleprompter, and it never click where it's supposed to click.
Yeah, the teleprompter glitch out. It glitch out. That's like technology.
And last, we'll be talking about some standout youngsters in the Jamaica Premier League. The Manning Cup and the Dakar Cup competitions, have finished. And because of that, we've seen some players filter up into JPL, and I think it has only improved the quality of the competition as a whole. And we'll be talking about that as well.
There we go. People, before we get into the first topic, don't forget again to like the video, leave a comment on the video, subscribe to the This or That Sports TV. Never tell them for share. Joe Mark obviously. You want to tell them, bro? I can't just tell them on it.
Now tell them. I know this.
Just share the video to 10 people, but get us at least 6 subscribers. Because blah, 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 blah. Many subscribers that get us by the end of the day. I lie. Let's people, let's go. Studio talk. All right. So the first segment, under 17 Reggae Boys will be contesting the Concacaf under 17 championships. And this will also serve as the under 17 World Cup qualifiers, bro. It's very important. You have to note that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. The under 17 Reggae Boys. What do you think about this team? Obviously, the camps would have loved to see the camp start a bit earlier. It started about a month or so away from the competition. But hey, we have to do something. How do you feel about under 17 Reggae Boys?
I mean, the time when the camp started, I believe this was 6 weeks before the competition. I believe that's sufficient time to prepare a youth squad. Considering that most of them would be engaged in other competitions. Leading up to this, I think it's the same all across the world where teams would have assembled, in the winter break and started to train with each other to go forward. Because in this competition, there are a lot of players, a lot of individuals playing in academies and pro levels all over the world that we played for their respective teams. So I'm not dissatisfied with the length of time that we had for camping. I think it's much more than we've seen in the past. So I appreciate the effort, and I'm looking forward to see what we can get from these group of boys.
Yeah, and the thing with this competition, it's so hard to gauge and make our expectations, because we don't know how good the other squads are. It's always a changing team. The last competition was in 2019, so we're going to see a totally different squad, from top to bottom. So we don't know how good the teams are. We don't know how good we are, in relation to the other teams. But we're going to talk about it in terms of expectations. What do you expect to see from the Reggae Boyz, results and football-wise?
Well, honestly, based on the set of players, I think this year will be closer than ever to these set of players because we're familiar with almost all of them, considering that we comprehensively covered the Manning Cup and to a way smaller extent or way less extent the Costa Cup. So we are familiar with these players, a few of them personal relationships with, and a few of them very happy to see them get the call up. So what I'm expecting from this team, maybe my expectations are tainted because of the relationship that I have with these boys, but I expect them to play good football. I think the quality is at a very high level, considering that these players, almost all of them, are standouts in the under-19 competition, though some of them being 15 and 16. So I do believe that the standard of play for these Reggae Boyz will be very high, and I expect them, because they've been training for so long, and I've seen clips from within the camp, it seems as though chemistry is at an all-time high, and there's an integration of MLS academy players that have been incorporated into this squad, and I think they will come together and I think they'll play good football. I really have high expectations for this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the thing is, quality and talent has never been Jamaica's problem. It's never been whether we have the players to play. We've been through the Junior Flemings era, we've been through the Javian Brown era, which would be the last time, and the Malik Howell and all of those guys who do well at the schoolboy level, but when they transition and come into one team together, they don't quite live up to the same, thing that we see them do, on other stages. So quality is never the problem. Can we put together the right squad? Is Merangon the right coach? Is this program going in the right direction, to do something in this competition? Because I don't think it's that the team is not good enough. I think this team is good enough. I don't know the other teams, but in terms of 17-year-olds and what I've seen from these boys, I think we're just up there with, the best of them. If not, I can't say the best, but we're up there with the best of them. We should be, less than top 5, when I think about, all the teams that should be contesting this competition. What do you think about that?
I tend to agree, and it's so funny that the last male team to qualify for the World Cup in any age group was the under-17s, and that year they were led by Omar Holness. They had Nico Campbell and Odin Clark in goal. They had the likes of O'Shane Jenkins, Andre Lewis, and that was a very formidable team. And that
was schoolboy standouts, by the way.
Yeah, that was the last time that these boys would have qualified. A certain Junior Fleming would have also been a part of that team, but they opted to save him for his year, which would have been 2 years after. But I think he'd have probably regretted that decision. I wish he had gone with those boys at 15 years old. So you think about those boys, a lot of them went on, to get scholarships and play professionally, so on and so forth. So that was a very talented team. That was a very mature team. And I think this year was the first year in Manning Cup where we were comparing these crop of players to those Manning Cup players, and those players, that was even before they entered their primes in the Manning Cup. That was the year before Omar Holness would have started the Manning Cup, or the year before Jenkins, or the year before Nico Campbell. They'd have come back from that World Cup and then put their stamp on the Manning Cup in the next year. So I definitely think this is the first set of boys that's comparable in talent, from goalkeeper all the way to strikers. Since that year. So in terms of talent, I do believe that we have the talent. In terms of cohesiveness, I like the fact that we've started to camp before the Christmas season. Meron Gordon has worked with the national senior team, so I reckon that means he has some sort of experience and talent, and skill of coaching in order to be in that position. So I'm just curious to see how it materializes on the pitch. I would hope that they'd have gotten some practice matches. That doesn't seem to be the case. It seems that they'll just leave from camp and go straight into competition. But I'm very optimistic with what these guys can produce. Very, very, very talented couple of players.
All right, and to provide some context, people, let's talk about the format and how this competition will go on. So in the preliminary stages, we have 16 teams, right? And how they do this is not even a qualifiers or whatever. It's just the 16 best teams. So there's a ranking. I give you the top 16 teams in CONCACAF, and these 16 teams were sorted. Group one were part one were the top four, part two were the next four, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
One team from each part make up a group, right? So you can go on from there. So we have Mexico is ranked number 1, USA ranked number 2, Costa Rica ranked number 3, Honduras 4, Canada 5, Panama 6, Haiti 7, Jamaica 8, we're ranked 8 at the under 17 level, Cuba in 9th position, El Salvador at 10, Trinidad at 11, Guatemala at 12, Curacao at 13, Suriname at 14, Barbados at 15, and Guadeloupe at 16. So I explained the parts a while ago, so you can tell, where the teams will fall. Now, the top 3 teams from each group will then advance to the round of 16, where they will meet 4 teams that contested a qualifier before this round. So there were teams that played under 17 qualifiers, and the top 4 teams from that qualifier will automatically advance to the round of 16 with the 12 best teams from this group stage, right? So, with that said, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Jamaica should make
Have you done the brackets? Have you done the brackets for who we will face?
No, I haven't done the brackets, but I think closer to the competition.
I was formulating that if we come second in our zone, and I think if we come second in our zone, we'd face Nicaragua to qualify for the World Cup.
Nicaragua?
Yeah.
After the group stage, just 2 games we need to win to make it to the World Cup.
Just one.
No, man, the round of 16 we need to win that.
And then the quarter top 4. Yeah, so 2 games. Jaja, you popped my bubble a while ago.
Yeah.
I was saying just one would have been Nicaragua. But yeah, 2 games. So that quarterfinal game is going to be a big one. You'll be proving somebody good. But yeah, the format is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. We should come out of our zone at least first or second. Should be no less than second. And if we come out of our zone in second place, I think we'll face Nicaragua, and that should give us a berth to the quarterfinals. Where we will face a very good team for a spot in the FIFA Under 17 World Cup. Exciting times ahead.
And speaking of groups, let's talk about Jamaica's group. We have Costa Rica that's ranked 3rd at this level. People, these rankings, you can't read too much into them. These rankings were done in 2019 after that competition, and this is a totally different team. All these teams are different teams, but I guess the programs are the same. We have Costa Rica that's ranked 3rd, we have Cuba that's ranked 9th, so just below Jamaica ranked at 8th, and then we have Guadeloupe that's the worst ranked team in this part of the competition. So how do you feel about our group? And I think if we go out and play some football, we can tap this group, honestly.
I genuinely believe that besides the US, who has an outstanding academy system, and obviously Mexico, who football runs in their blood, and Canada, who is up and coming, Canada's youth development system is basically tied to USA's. It's still the MLS development program. So Canada, by default, has just as good a developmental system as the United States of America has. So I think besides those 3 teams, the talent in Jamaica at the youth level, considering that we benefit so much from that Canadian and US developmental program, considering that we have so many MLS next star players. So I think besides those 3 teams, Jamaica should have the best set of players to go out on the field. I think we should have the 4th best team in terms of quality, based on my knowledge. Obviously, I might be wrong, but I think based on my knowledge, considering the fact that USA and Canada have the best developmental youth programs in the Western Hemisphere, not Western Hemisphere, in CONCACAF, because we know that Brazil produces some great players. So in CONCACAF, we know that Canada and USA takes the cake in terms of developing players. And then we know that Mexico, football just runs in their blood. So I think besides those countries, I think the best set of players from CONCACAF comes straight out of Jamaica, in addition to the fact that we have so many MLS next star players on our team. So I do think that our composition of players should be outstanding. It's just whether or not they're coached well enough to go out and go on the field and play well. And for that, I cannot attest just yet.
Yeah, I can't quite say what we will do, but I feel like I want to make a prediction. It's a little bit early to make it, but I think we have a really good shot of making it to the World Cup, man. in terms of the caliber of players that we have and embracing those dual nationals, embracing players, as I said, from the MLS, and picking, I feel like the players that we picked from the Manning Cup and the Da Costa Cup this year, I don't feel like anyone was left off.
Yeah.
And I want to see the final squad because a 37 was selected and posted on Instagram. I want to see the final 20-man squad. Then I know people will have issues with the players selected. But in terms of the players that were called up to the camps, I have no problems with the players that were called up. And one player that I wanted to see, say what?
In camp to select. Oh.
Yeah, so that's 37 players that they posted recently, but then 20 players will be selected after that. I was saying that I wanted to see Kyle Miles in a squad like this, man, and I know that if he was not injured, I feel like he would have been around the squad.
Well,
but I feel like we have a solid.
Kyle Miles wasn't called up preceding injury.
Oh yeah, he wasn't. That was before he got injured, right?
He wasn't called. He wasn't called up to any of the preliminary squads. But Kyle Miles is 15 years old.
Yeah.
Kyle Miles will be eligible to play in the next Under-17 World Cup. So that might be taken into consideration. And then again, is Kyle Miles one of the best players Under-17 in the whole nation?
Probably not. But in terms of the training camp where we saw over 50 players being called, I feel like he could have made it into that camp. As I was saying, I was asserting myself that I feel like we have a solid shot of making it to this World Cup. I won't say we're going to win this competition because Mexico and USA, even Canada, nothing to scoff at. They're building a solid program. But in terms of making it to the World Cup and being one of the 4 best teams in this competition, I feel like Jamaica has a solid shot.
For sure, without a doubt. It will come down to playing one of Costa Rica, Honduras, one of those teams in that quarterfinal round. Maybe even a USA or a Mexico or a Canada to go to the World Cup. So it should be interesting. I cannot wait.
All right. Let's take a quick look at the squads. At the squad that was, the final training camp squad that was called. And some of the players that we recognize from the squad, obviously some of them we don't know because they are, in America and playing. But let's talk about some of the players that we do know. All right. So let's go through the squad real quick. So, Meran Gardner is obviously the coach. Assistant coaches Vassal Reynolds and Andrew Peart, some good coaches. Goalkeeper coaches Andrew Sewell. So, I see Tywin Lynch from Mount Pleasant, Roger Taylor from Kingston College, Joshua Grant from Inter Miami.
Make some tackle and make some. You just walk over that. Roger Taylor, a very, very mature player. He will feature. He will make this final squad.
Yeah. I don't mind Roger Taylor as a player. I feel like he's a safe player, a player that, 1-2 touches, not more than that. He doesn't give you more than that. As him said, he just make some tackle and make some pass. That's literally what the kid does.
Roger Taylor is 16 years old and he's about 6'1", probably 170 pounds, and he works non-stop, and he's no slouch technically in that regard. He has good touch and he can the style of play. So definitely a good player for the future, without a doubt.
Yeah, then we have Joshua Grant from Inter Miami. That's one of the players from overseas. Garfield Tomlinson from Garvey Maceo.
And not just one of the players. Joshua Grant is going to be a professional footballer. Joshua Grant, I think, will start in goal for this team. He's such a good goalkeeper. He's come onto my radar recently, and he's gelled with the boys so much. I'd love to find out about his heritage because he seems fully inculcated in the Jamaican culture. Being a dual national, him can keep, and him big and in town.
He's been called up to America, to the US squad before, right?
Yeah.
So I'd love to know. I'd love to get some insight into that. And if he just chose to represent Jamaica for the love of the country, who knows? Jamaica is a big name out there, and maybe this kid just wants to represent the country of which of his parents are grandparents. Yeah. So this is one to look forward to. I'm glad that he stopped at Joshua Grant, because a lot of people will see him and say, "Who is this kid?" Remember the name, Joshua Grant. Then we have Garfield Tomlinson from Garvey Maceo, where that stood out in the local competitions. Javin Williams from the Manning School, another one. Samir Blows from Prime FC. Then we have Carlton Brown from Mona High School, another player that we're familiar with. Obviously, people, the players that we're familiar with, we will speak a bit more about. Yeah. How do you feel about Carlton Brown getting the call up, man?
Yeah, well, enough people might know, enough people might not know. Portion, one of my, a player in the Manning Cup that has a soft spot. Obviously plagued with disciplinary issues that seems to follow him like a shadow follows a player in the 12 o'clock sun. But but when he plays football or when his head is in the game, he plays. And one thing about that kid, he has an undying motor. Yeah, I think his motor is not one of petrol or coal, it's one of uranium because it never runs out. Yeah, he's powered by nuclear energy because he just keeps going until the final whistle. He never stops. In addition to the fact that he's okay technical, like he can make passes, he's a very good defender. He has a good eye for the ball and he has a lot of height. I hope that he makes the final cut, but definitely a player that we love at this other Sports TV.
Yeah, I'm happy for that selection. Now we have Amir Dixon. Now I hear Dixon from Mount Pleasant and Alex Xavier Gooden from Stats. I feel like one of the candidates to captain this team. I feel like we'll definitely see him in the final squad, right?
This are that Sports TV rising star, one of the players just eligible to play under 16 this year and did not get a chance to because he was too busy standing out in the Manning Cup, being one of the absolute best defenders in all of schoolboy football. No surprises here that he's here and he will continue to do well. And as you said, he will be one of the leaders of this team.
Yeah. Brandon Ben from Inter Miami, another one of those players. Tyree McKinley, Garvin Maceo. Nashawn Bolt Barrett from Clarendon College. Ronaldo Barrett from Idel. Adrian Reed from St. George's College. People are also familiar with that name from the coverage that we've done on the Manning Cup. Malik Robinson from Garvin Maceo.
Reed is also a candidate to captain this team.
Yeah, he's one of the youth leaders of the country.
Yeah.
Malik Robinson from Garvin Maceo. Everald Swaby from Garvin Maceo. Dustin Cohen.
What does this say about Garvin Maceo and the Costa Cup in September?
Yeah, I was going to say that, this is giving some insight into what to expect from Garvin Maceo because there are a lot of Garvin Maceo players on this squad already. And I'm just on the first page. Dustin Cohen from Denby High. Jamani Bell from Wilmers, another player that I'm excited to see, in this squad.
Suffered from injury throughout the Manning Cup and as such didn't get to strut his stuff for Wilmers, but he's definitely talent untapped and a big part of the Phoenix program. So it's curious it's curious to see that this is our second Phoenix player that we've mentioned thus far getting selected into this team. Could this mean that Jamaica has crossed a certain bridge that we've been stuck on before? Is this something the JFF are making advancements to take the politics out of football and just play football? Jamani Bell, one of the players, very young, going to be 16 years old or just turned 16 years old, will be in the final cut.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. And Jason White from Glenmuir. On the other page, we have Nicholas Simmons of Richmond United, Orion Waxman of Glenmuir, Niall Wharf, Inter Miami. That's what, the third or fourth American player I've seen. What do you know? Wilberforce from Mount Pleasant.
Bro, they aren't American because they have to have Jamaican passports to play for us.
True.
So that's the fourth Jamaican playing in America or the fourth dual national. They aren't American, they're Jamaican. You see which colors they're wearing?
And I like fourth dual national.
Yeah. Or you can just say overseas based player.
All right. Ready again?
Yeah.
So Nashard Gibbs from Kingston College, another player that I'm looking forward to seeing play in this competition.
He was a standout in the Manning Cup. He was one of those players that was an absolute standout in Manning Cup. I think Kingston College's second best goal scorer this season. Being thrusted into a big role in his Manning Cup team, a leadership role in only the 11th grade, and making Coach Watson very proud. So I think Nashard gives somebody to look out for in this team. Will provide width, speed, and some goals.
There we go. Jordan Mangatal from South Florida FA, another player. Dylan John from Jamaica College. This is the third Phoenix and another player that I'm excited to see. Again, I feel like Dylan John is a technically sound player that can make the right decisions on a football pitch when they give him that ball in the final third. How do you feel about Dylan making this squad?
Dylan John, I think the only reason he didn't play all the games for Jamaica College was because he was underscored to one Kevin Wilson, who is, an 18-year-old about to be 19-year-old that is an absolute stellar player. who can make something out of nothing. And the fact that Dylan John was his underscore would have really improved Dylan John's game. And I think going into next season for Jamaica College, Dylan John will be their standout number 10 player. And I think for this under 17 team, the vast majority of creativity will come from John in this team.
There we go. Kemar Knox from Mount Pleasant. Lloyd Smith from Stats. O'Neill Headley from Glenmuir. Keani Jackson from Hydel. Ryan Gorzong Jr. from Idea Sports SA. I don't know where that team is. But yeah, we see some more overseas based players.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, in this squad, man. I love it. And hopefully we can see some more of this transition all the way through the ranks and no quota system. Hate to hear it. Malachi Molina from FC Dallas, another one. Malachi Grant from Atlanta United, another one. Ashton Gordon from Atlanta United, another one. Dante Escoffer from Cornwall College. Adrian Mahoney from Toronto FC, another one. And Chi Daniel Gardner from release unattached at the moment. Yeah, love it. I feel like that's a solid squad, and I just want to see the 20 that was selected out of that. And few notable omissions. Denzel Washington McKenzie. Wanted to see him in this squad. I don't know why he didn't make the final cut, or if he made it. I don't know what happened, but I was looking forward to seeing Denzel Washington McKenzie. Yeah. Anything else on this squad, bro, before we transition to the next topic?
As I'm saying, I harp on the fact that both America and Canada have the two best developmental programs in all of Concacaf right now. We see them producing players that are going to Europe left, right, and center. I don't even need to call names. And Jamaica is benefiting from that. If we can get some of these guys into our system, some of these guys who will transition into the MLS, some of these guys who will transition into college soccer and then move on to Europe or the MLS into our programs from now and get them playing for Jamaica and get them loving Jamaica, I think this is the way to go. And I think the new JFF administration is what has caused the rise in this action. The movement has started because the JFF is attempting to start this movement. And I think if we continue to put in this effort, we can have a very good squad. And I always say, inviting international based players into the squad, it will never be a fully international based team. It will never be, because Jamaica produces some of the best talent in the whole entire world, and that's unequivocal. And I always say, had some of our Jamaican players, had Gooden been born with an American passport or an English passport, he would have been in the academy system without a doubt. You see that for the likes of Jamani Bell and the likes of Dylan John. Had these players played internationally, like had they, for example, been born in America or been blessed with the privilege to have an American passport, they would have been in academy systems just like some of these players. So allowing the academy players will not completely take the spots of our players. So I genuinely mean that we have players that are good enough to play in the US and European academy system. But it will definitely improve the depth of the pool, and I'm happy to see that we're tapping into our diaspora, because we're all Jamaicans at the end of the day.
Yeah, the way I see it is they develop the players for us. Why not take advantage of that? But yeah, people again feel that Jamaica, the under 17 Reggae Boys have a really good shot of making it to the World Cup. What a good thing will that be. People, stay tuned to Studio Talk. It's another episode. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment on the video, and subscribe to this or that Sports TV. Do one more thing for us, do.
Share the video to at least 10 people, but ensure to get us 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that get us by the end of the day?
There we go. People, segment 2 on Studio Talk. Welcome back. All right, welcome back. And we're still on National Team Talk. We're here to talk about the year ahead for the Reggae Boys and girls. What to expect from the national team, what to expect from the JFF, how many trophies to expect, as Jomar said in the intro. Let's talk about it. How do you feel about the start of the year so far for the JFF?
Well, for the JFF on a whole, we've started by ushering in the Adidas regime. I think that's a big deal. That's something that's globally pushed, even on the Adidas website. They seem excited about this partnership, but I know they aren't as excited as I am. So So that's a good way to usher in the new year. You know, we've seen some little snippets. You know, I'm thinking I saw two pictures, a yellow picture with like some line designs, and I saw a black picture with like some red, green, and gold situation. So is that a hint at
Excited for the jerseys.
how the jersey will look like? I don't mind an away jersey with the reggae colors, like with the Rastafarian colors.
Yeah, it's a part of our culture, man.
As a homage to you know to pay homage to our African descent. I don't mind adding some red into our away kit. You know, switch it up. You know, I do not mind. We see other teams playing we see Argentina playing in purple kits this World Cup.
Hmm.
You know, and the last I checked, purple was not a part of the Argentinian flag. So I don't mind adding a tad bit of red if it's going to allude to a reggae. You know, I'd more than welcome it, and I think it'd make for beautiful away kits. You know, adding, you know, paying homage to our Rastafarian history and our African culture. So I saw the snippets. I'm not sure if you saw the picture that I'm talking
No, I
about.
saw it. I saw it.
I'm wondering if those are because the yellow one, nice design, could be for the home kit, and
Mhm.
the black one could be for the away kit. So I hope that's what they're giving on to us. Because no, in my mind, the away kit is going to be in the Rastafarian colors.
Yeah.
If it don't happen now, I'm going to be disappointed.
You know, I heard Dennis Chung speaking about the kids, and he said that there's some fire kids. You know, hopefully we'll see them in the under 17 competition, right? Yeah, we have to see them in the under.
We'll be,
Right. So,
at the end of January, they'll be unveiled.
all right. So people, I can't wait to get my hands on them. Can't wait to get my hands on them. I feel like there'll be some really good kits, and I feel like Adidas will take full advantage of the partnership with Jamaica. Man. Last show we spoke about what Jamaica means to the world, and Adidas will definitely tap into that. But and how I feel about how the JFL has started the year, I feel like it's a decent start. It's a good start. You know, I know it's in the partnership, the camp for the under 17 team, updating the public and the team and all of that. I feel like they're taking steps in the right decision, in the right direction. So I don't mind it at all. One thing I want to do though is go to kind of a calendar of events. You know, talk about what to expect in terms of competitions for the Reggae boys and girls this year. So let's take a quick look at that. So the first competition that we will be watching is in February. It's the Concacaf U-17 Men's Championship. That will run from the 11th of February to the 26th of February. In this, obviously, we spoke about a while ago, and I said that we have a really good shot of pulling down some not silverware, but making it to the World Cup. And that's what I feel we should expect from this competition. What more can we expect from this
We
competition?
don't be aspiring to get some silver here.
It wouldn't be bad. I'd love it. I feel like we should set our sights on the World Cup. But are you making that assertion?
No, as I said, I think Canada and America are quite a distance ahead of us, especially in the new MLS Next Star program that's been recently implemented, and we've seen it yield so much good results. You know, so many good players have come from it, and I think America will continue to stand out and go forth and win this competition quite easily.
Could be Mexico. Could Mexico won the last one? It could be Mexico.
Yeah, I think, as I said, the last one was a couple of years ago, interrupted by COVID and so on and so forth. And within the last 4 years, I think USA, have really taken gargantuous steps to get into the point that they are right now. And I think going forward, America will be the powerhouses in youth football, and I think they will take the cake for this competition. However, come finishing in the top four, I definitely do believe that it's a possibility, and that's something that we should strive for. Anything less than that, I think,
It's a failure. It's a failure. Yeah, I agree with you. The next competition that we'll be watching is in March, and it's the Nations League. It's our game against Mexico. It's a must-win game, I must say. I feel like we have what it takes to win this game. I honestly believe so. A new coach seems to be, taking some positive steps and putting some things in place. Doing some things that we like to see from our national coach. Making some travels and some conquests, and we love to see it. So hopefully, this will all culminate in March. On the 26th of March, we'll go to Mexico, and hopefully we can pull out a result. How do you feel about this game, and are you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it. My expectations are not necessarily super high. I do believe that we can go in the Azteca and get a good result. I do believe that our team is rebuilding, and if Hal Grimson continues to do the work that he started out to do, And I do believe that we can go ahead and get a result. And I definitely believe that winning this match is a possibility. However, am I expecting us to go to the Azteca and beat Mexico?
All right.
I'm never expecting us to go to the Azteca and beat Mexico. And I think, obviously, because of past errors, we've put ourselves into this uncomfortable position. Because we did manage to do the work against Mexico in the national stadium, but due to politics and due to the players not getting their heads straight, we went to Suriname and we absolutely messed the bed. Junior Fleming scored a good goal to put us forward, and due to some Amal Knight blunders, Andre Blake just didn't play simply because I don't know, he didn't want to, or he wasn't mentally right, or he was under protest. I'm not sure why Andre Blake never played in that game, but it's safe to say had Andre Blake played in that game, we'd be entering this game in a different position, don't you think?
Yeah, I feel so. But the position that we are in right now is just to get a win. And the caliber of players that we have, obviously the Mexican team is nothing to play with, and they're a good team. I don't feel like they have had a great World Cup, so I feel like this would be the tournament that they would want to, win and get back some pride in the country. But I feel like Jamaica trying to turn a new leaf. This could be where the program goes bang. It could be where we take the first step towards playing some real winning football and getting the culture back, getting the fans involved. This is a good opportunity to do that. But as you said, in terms of predicting that we are going to go to the Azteca and beat Mexico, to predict that and predict that with confidence and predict that comfortably, I would look like I would appear to not know much about football. So I can't say that I'm expecting us to go there and 3 or 4 or 5 Mexico. No, not at all. But if we go and remain compact and we go out play some good football, we call our best team, I can see we pulling out a 1 or a 2-1, a 1-0 or a 2-1 win against Mexico in March.
Yeah, and as I said, the Azteca factor is something to consider. But when I think about this Nations League fixture, I just can't help but look back in the past to that first Suriname fixture. I just can't help but think, we managed to do the work against Suriname, we managed to do the work against Mexico. Had we beaten Suriname, we'd have just needed a draw out of this game, and I would have been more than confident I would have gone to the Azteca and get a draw. It's unfortunate that our past is affecting Hallgrimson's chance of going forward and getting some silverware. But let's say we go to the Azteca and we do the business. We have either Canada or the US to play in a semi-finals in the Nations League. What do you think about that?
That's another hard game. I feel like we can do better than what I saw us do against Canada in the World Cup qualifiers. I feel like we definitely can play some better football. Canada is a really good team. Their program over the years have developed into, a powerhouse in Concacaf. We saw what they did in qualifiers. They topped the qualifiers, right? So I know that they're a good team, but I feel like we're not Canada. I don't think Canada are 3-0 better than us, and especially in the game that we played in Canada, I don't think that they're that much better than us. Now, if we play our best team again, I give Jamaica a chance against any team in CONCACAF. If we come with our best team and we come with a system, and obviously I'm yet to see these things, and I'm yet to see a system, I'm yet to see a formula of the program, but I feel like right now the direction that this team and this program, this JFF, this new administration seem to be going in, if it goes in that direction, man, I don't think I'm afraid of any team. Obviously Mexico, Canada and USA are all better than us, but I'm not afraid of them.
It's important to note that if we successfully beat Mexico in this upcoming FIFA window, the next FIFA window will be in June, and the two games that we'd hope to play, the semi-finals and the finals, will be at a neutral venue in America. So that's important to note. We won't have to be doing any long traveling for those two games. They'll be in quick succession, and we can start off our Gold Cup campaign as the defending champions for the Nations League. That's well within the realm of possibility. So,
there we go.
Another expectation that I would definitely have for the national team, is to sandwich that Nations League fixture against Mexico with two friendly matches. I think that's important. This new JFF has done a really good job of getting fixtures when fixtures are available. We've gotten a few friendlies. We've got one against Argentina. We've got an important one against Cameroon. Catalonia. So I think they've been very good about that. They've been doing a good job of getting us fixtures and friendlies. So I hope to sandwich the Nations League game in March with two friendlies on the front side and the back side of that. and the next FIFA day will be in June. And I'm hoping that we don't have to organize friendlies for those fixtures in June because we'll have the Nations League semi-final and final to play. But if not, we definitely have to have some FIFA friendly games going into the Gold Cup in the summertime.
Here we go. I agree with you. And that's a perfect segue to go into the next competition that we have. It's the Concacaf Men's Gold Cup 2023 edition. That runs from June 16 to July 16, and hopefully we're playing on July 16th. What are your expectations for the Reggae boys? Mine's definitely to make it to the Gold Cup, to make it to the finals of the Gold Cup. We've been there before. As I said, I'm not afraid of any of these teams in CONCACAF. We have the caliber of players to make it this far. So I am definitely putting it out there to make it to the finals of the Gold Cup.
Yeah, my target and aspiration is to also make it to the finals of the Gold Cup. You know, considering that we'd have had more than 6 months, because you come from the Argentina game, Al Grimson, to all the way to the summer. That's like about 8 months that he would have had to get his program together. You'd have definitely had at least one match against Mexico. You know, I'm hoping that the organization helps him out by getting him at least 4 friendlies, or, you know, hopefully play 3 Nations League matches. But if not, at least 5 friendlies, plus the Nations League match against Mexico, plus a first round in the Gold Cup that is almost an automatic qualification for a team like Jamaica. I think that's enough time to get ourselves together. He's currently campaigning in England right now to get better players. So let's see how the team looks in March. And in March, we'll tell if we should go into the Gold Cup expecting to win it. But as of right now, with the assortment of players that we already do have, you know, the likes of Ethan Pinnock being on form, the likes of Leon Bailey still starting every week in the Premier League. Bobby Reid, no joke. You know, Ravel Morrison, you know, I'm excited to see how he looks when the MLS restarts. But considering all those factors, I definitely believe that the finals of the Gold Cup, you know, I definitely believe that if we have to beat Mexico or Canada in a semi-final, we should be able to do that. Mexico or USA in a semi-final, we should be able to do that. Or Canada. You know, the semi-final, if we don't make it to the semi-final, it's a failure. But I think our target should be the finals.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the finals. And the finals is just a game where anything can happen. You know, the form will go out the window. And it's just who wants it more on the day, who plays better football on the day, you know, and who take their chances on the day and make less mistakes. So put us in the finals against anybody and see what happens. So that's my target. That's my expectations for these Reggae boys. I'm not going with these soft expectations and say make it out the group or anything like that. Finals, as I say, semi-finals, or anything lower than a semi-final performance is a failure.
Al Grimson have come on that question.
There we go. On to the team that I think should be the pride of Jamaican football for 2023. It's the Reggae girls, and you know we love our Reggae girls, man. The FIFA Women's World Cup will be running from July 20th to August 20th, 2023. This should be a really good competition. As far as expectations go, I'm looking forward to the girls challenging to make it out of the group.
Yeah.
I think that should be the goal. Last World Cup, it was just great to be there. It was great to make the World Cup. I feel like this time we should be looking to make it out of the group, or looking to challenge for that top 2 spot in the group, or at least that second spot in the group. We should not be at the bottom of the group. I don't feel so. As far as expectations go, what do you want to say about the Reggae girls and the upcoming World Cup?
Yeah, I'm thinking we should attempt to get 3 points. You know, that's my target and my goal, and I think 3 or 4 points in this group would be a success for us. It's going to be hard to see the girls qualifying out of such a tough group. You know, we got hard done by with the draw, and that happens in tournament play, especially after playing as well as we did in the qualifiers, but because of our rankings. It's the same as Canada. Canada did not play so well to be placed in a zone that they were placed in. That's just unfortunate because of their rankings coming into the competition. And it was the same thing that afflicted us. I definitely believe that we should at least be getting a win this year, getting our first win in the World Cup. And, you know, seeing if we can get a point against either France or Brazil, I think it's more than possible. You know, if we can play well, if Al Grimson continues to get these girls playing together. We do have Khadija Shah, we do have Drew Spencer. These are players playing in the best competition, and they're playing very good football. You know, they're standouts for their respective teams. So I do believe that we definitely should be aiming for 3 to 4 points, and then chaos might happen with 4 points. Who knows? You know, 4 points can see you through to the second round. I'm not necessarily expecting a second round berth. Nor am I saying that if we don't qualify for the second round, it's a failure. I think if we get any less, I think if we finish without a point again, or finish with 1 point, I think we might deem that an unsuccessful World Cup. But if we can manage to get a win in the World Cup, that would be outstanding. It'd be ridiculous. 4 points and see where the chips lie.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, we definitely have the team to, cause some trouble in this group. We have a really good team. Khadija Shaw is a superstar at this point. Everybody loves her, and she's standing out in England, in Man City. So I'm expecting, as I said, I expect the girls to challenge in this. To challenge. Challenge would be success for me. Going there, even if we lose out and say we finish with 1 point, but we're always in the games. And we're not getting them embarrassed, and we're never out of the game by the 28th minute. I'd like to, I wouldn't even be mad at that. But challenging is definitely what I want to see. And the final thing to look forward to this year, obviously we have friendlies that will be sprinkled around these major competitions, but the final thing to look forward to is the Concacaf Women's Olympic qualifiers, and it's the playoff match. You remember last season in the summer we were watching the Women's Championship, and the winner of that competition was USA, so they get an automatic spot to the Olympics, and the second and third place team play a playoff game, a two-legged playoff game for the second spot in the Olympics. And that game will be between Jamaica and Canada, right? So we will be having the first game in Jamaica and then the second game in Mexico. So what do you expect from this Olympic qualifier?
It's going to be an uphill battle. I can say that much. However, football is a game played with 22 players, and one ball. So anything can play on the day. We know that Canada are the defending Olympic champions, and they possess the likes of Jordan Hedema, who is like a standout player in Europe right now. So Canada will come and attempt to play the ball down our throats. It will be difficult, but if Donaldson's women can stay disciplined, and if we can get individual brilliance from some of our standout players, then there's definitely a possibility. Am I expecting us to go for it and beat Canada over 2 legs and go to the World Cup? It's hard to say that, because I think in Concacaf, there is USA, slightly below USA there's Canada, and there's a big drop off, with all of the other teams. And I think after that drop off, then Jamaica, the likes of Costa Rica and Mexico are there fighting for that third spot. But I think there's a huge disparity between 2 and 3 in Concacaf women's football. So it will be hard to say that the girls should definitely defeat Canada over 2 legs. I think that's a bit unrealistic. But what we can expect is for the girls to play well. We saw even though they qualified for the World Cup, their performance against the USA was pretty embarrassing. Some might say they threw the game, it was tactical or whatever. That may well be the case. And if that was the case, good work to Laura Donaldson. It's not about pride, it's about getting the result. But USA absolutely annihilated us, and it was a bit embarrassing. And I think Canada is in the realm of USA, in terms of women's football. So my expectations are not necessarily high. It would be amazing to see the national anthem played at the Olympics, but I'm not expecting us to go for it and beat Canada over 2 legs.
Yeah, and to add to that, we've seen some shaky performance from the Reggae girls, especially 2 friendlies that we saw against Paraguay in Jamaica recently. Those were not 2 great performances, man. Managing to get the result in Montego Bay and then in Kingston, but not great performance, and it definitely doesn't inspire confidence going into these competitions. But we know that Reggae girls have quality. We know that Lauren Donaldson is a good coach, and we know that he can put it together and get these girls to play some good football and get the results against better teams. But one thing I must say, Canada is a really good team, man. We saw it in the championship in the summer. They were nothing to play with. But again, like the Reggae boys, I'm not scared of Canada. I feel like if we go with a game plan, we go and we remain compact, we can get a result. So 2-legged tie, you're never out of it. It's just half time, and hopefully we can bring them to the home game and give them an upset, because even if we beat them at home, it's still an upset. They are so much better than us.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can do that and go to Canada. You never know what will happen. So those are my expectations.
Those games are in the winter too.
Yeah, rough games. The games are in September. Both games.
Oh, both games are in September.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was in December. So autumn games, that's not too terrible. I thought the games were in December. If it was in December, that would be a rough travel for the girls to go to BMO to play the girls. But September is not too bad.
Yeah, we can deal with that. And in the winter though of this year, another competition that I left off this graphic that you guys are looking at is the Under-17 World Cup. I didn't put it on there because you have to qualify for the World Cup first. But another Winter World Cup in Peru. I think running from the 2nd or the 10th of November to the 2nd of December.
If it's in Peru, it's not a Winter World Cup.
Yeah, but another World Cup at the back end of the year. Same thing like Qatar. Hopefully Jamaica will be there. Hopefully the Under-17 team will be there and playing in that World Cup. But yeah, that's as far as this go. Anything more on that on the list and the calendar of events for the national teams?
No, just the whole ton loads of friendlies that this brand new JFF will definitely manage to secure for us. For all age groups and all genders.
All right. But I heard Dennis Chung mention a camp for the Reggae girls, I think in January. So not too far from now. So I'm excited for that. I feel like that's the step that we should be taking towards the Reggae girls and the Reggae boys. We need to have some more camps and we need to have some more friendlies. Hopefully some announcements will be made. March is not that far away. We close our eyes and open them again and we're in February. So around that Nations League game that you mentioned, we need to have some friendlies. We need to see some things happening. So people, these are expectations for our national teams for 2023. On the next segment, we'll be speaking about some JPL people. We started our JPL coverage this week. Yeah, and we went to a few games and we spoke about a few games. Go and check those out. Check out the interviews that we did. Jeremy and Teddy Johnson. We spoke to Ludlow Bernard. We spoke to Rudolph Austin. We did some good coverage, people. So go and check that out. And more to come on the JPL. But on the next segment, we're going to speak about some schoolboys that are standing out in the JPL. So stay tuned. All right. The Jamaica Premier League is well underway. We're approaching game day 10. Just about the middle, I think. No, we're a few match days away from the middle. But yeah, it's a good competition so far. I like what they're doing. Similar to what we saw with the schoolboy football competition. It's kind of a rebranding. The broadcasting is really good with us. We're seeing sponsors. We're seeing limited fields. Only the good fields. No bad fields can make it onto TV. We're seeing some good things from JPL and the rebranding. How do you feel about the Jamaican Premier League so far?
I definitely like what they're doing. There's definitely an air of professionalism that has been added to it, and I think this is exactly the way how it's supposed to go. Teams getting their home and away fixtures, but some teams conceding home games when they're TV games, so as to accommodate double headers, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Still home and away, still the general format. However, the venues have to be altered from time to time to accommodate double headers. And if you lose a home game, oh well, Jamaica is very small regardless. So I definitely like the direction that the JPL has gone in. It looks better, it feels better, and I think the quality of football will reflect as such.
Here we go. Not some bad games. I've been watching the games and I'm seeing some good games. Let's speak about the topic at hand though. Some schoolboys that we saw in the Money Cup and the Costa Cup are standing out against grown men, against, I can't say full professionals, but men that are earning, so I guess we can call them full professionals, against grown men in the JPL. Some names to mention: Romain Blake, Devante Hodges, Marquise Reed, Shaquan Satchwell, Romeo Daniels, a lot of those players. So let's speak about it, man. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, because I've always maintained that the ISA boys and girls, or the ISA boys and girls sports competitions in general tend to have a better level than the quote-unquote FA run professional or semi-professional competitions in the country, and especially with football. The Manning Cup and the Costa Cup, sometimes it looks better and it feels better. Obviously I think there's probably more concentrated talent in the FA run JPL because there are only 14 teams. But I mean, at the very tippy top of the Manning Cup, some of these players who are standing out in the Manning Cup are just as good if not better, than these players in the Jamaica Premier League, and it's on full display. With the likes of these youngsters being introduced to their JPL teams right off of Manning Cup and the Costa Cup being concluded, and they fit like an absolute glove. In fact, we've seen where the players themselves are making profound impacts on their team. Devontae Hodges was featured in a newspaper article recently, after helping to improve the Chapelton Maroons' performance after finishing the Costa Cup, changing from his customary yellow to the pink or red, whatever that color is of the Chapelton Maroons, and going out there and making an absolute statement. And somebody that we'd be more familiar with from Jamaica College, Romain Blake. I think he's Waterhouse's best defender. And since going into Waterhouse, you've seen where they just look so much better. He gives them that ability to play better football because of his ability to play out from the back. In addition to his assured defending, he's such a remarkable young talent, and it's amazing how poised he is, how much of a leader he is on that field, though he's playing with men that are probably 10 years older than he is. They all respect him, and his coach expects leadership from him, and he goes out and he delivers by playing outstanding football and demonstrating excellent leadership at the senior level. Romain Blake, an amazing player, and it's so jarring to see that the youngest players in the nation playing in the high school competition can fit seamlessly into the Premier League, and you can't say that about any other football system in the whole entire world.
Yeah, and that was the point I was going to make. Both guys that you mentioned a while ago are 17 years old. Devontae Hodges is 17, Romain Blake is 17 years old. And standing out, going into Waterhouse and immediately changing their fortunes.
And not to cut you, they're standing out at a central defense position,
where maturity is appreciated.
Exactly. At centre back, you're required experience, because it takes great experience to play centre back rather than as a winger, where all you have to do is get the ball, beat a man, and get a squaring. Just put your foot through the ball and get a squaring. As a defender, you have to be more calculated, and more intelligent. I genuinely do believe that defenders, though it might not be the technically best players on the field, have to be the most intelligent players on the field. And we see two 17-year-olds going out playing in such a hard position, absolutely standing out.
Yeah, and as I was saying, immediately changing Waterhouse fortunes. He walked into that squad and became their starter. When you think about a school, I would say other schoolboys that are there and doing well, at other teams. So we talk about Shaquan Satchel, we talk about Jaime Fraser from JC's playing at Ababu same way. Playing at he plays for Portmore United.
Yeah.
So we see players that are doing well, but these players just walk into these these teams and become starters. Chapter Maroon, by the way, is filled with schoolboys. That is basically the Clarendon College's team right there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those players, Malachi Douglas and those players, they're playing for Chapter Maroons. Romeo Daniels, the keeper, he's playing for Chapter Maroons. Marquise Reed playing for Chapter Maroons. So a lot of these players, man, I'm so surprised at what they're doing, and because normally we see 1 and 2, we see a Junior Flemings come and just mash it up. We see a Javier Brown come and just mash it up. We see a Alex Marshall come and just mash it up. But then, at 17 years old though, crazy. So I'd say it's a phenomenon. Obviously, schoolboys playing in the JPL is not, but at this tender age and being as good as they are, I can't find another word than phenomenon. Shaquan Satchel played a good game for Portmore in the game that they played this week in game week 9. He played decent, got a chance. I don't know if you saw it where he collided with Gawain Austin.
Yeah. I was there. I couldn't believe that chance wasn't converted. It seemed as though the goal was gaping, begging for it to be scored in. And they did everything but that. It's unfortunate, but you speak about Satchel. His coach Philip Williams relies heavily on him, not only in that St. Andrew Technical High School team, but in that Portmore United team as well. You can see that he's a linchpin in their offense. You can see that he's definitely somebody they attempt to get the ball to, and they expect goals and goal opportunities to be created from Shako and Satchel. They expect him to run the game. Sometimes we saw him playing deeper in the midfield. As I always say about his versatility to play in the midfield, and then we see him being pushed out wide as well. And we see how often his coach is saying, get the ball to Satchel, overlap, cut off Satchel, run off Satchel, break off Satchel. Like I'm hearing this being right beside the bench, and
Yeah.
it's so interesting to me how he's just an 18-year-old, and his coach is expecting him to perform very well at the highest level of this thing here.
And
Schoolboy footballs are really standing out, and it's amazing to see.
yeah, and he doesn't look out of place. He doesn't look out of place, and obviously it's one of his first games this season, and I'm expecting him to continue to do better for Portmore United. Portmore United, however, though they are struggling for goals, man, they are undefeated, in the competition so far, but can't manage to put the ball into the back of the net. I saw that chance. I was like, that epitomizes what they've been this season. So solid at the back because they have a veteran in, Rudolph Austin Marshall in the team.
Yeah,
And some good players. Myers beside him. I feel like I was impressed by that guy, playing beside Rudolph Austin, but can't manage to put the ball into the back of the net. And once Jaime Fraser, who is a standout for JC, and Shako and Satchel come alive, I feel like they will start scoring goals. And if Romain Blake and Devonta Adams is anything to go by, the schoolboys will start, lighting up this competition. Before we go though, I wanted to give the viewers a quick rundown of the JPL table. Because I we started our coverage. Let's just not tell them what's going on. At the bottom of the table, we have Falkland FC. Matter of fact, let's start at the top. We have Mount Pleasant on 20 points. Cavaliers just behind on 19 points. Arnett Gardens on 17 points. Harbourview FC on 15 points. Portmore United on 15 points. Humble Lion 14 points. Waterhouse 13. Dunbar Holden 12. Montego Bay United 12. Mullines United 10. Chapeltown Maroons 8. Tivoli Gardens 7. Vere United 6. And Falkland FC on 2 points. Some teams that we are expecting to be doing well, Tivoli is always a team I expect to be at the top of the table, being in that top 5, being in and around that top 5 place. But they're sitting third from last.
yeah.
Not a great start to the season so far. But Mount Pleasant and Cavaliers and Arnett running away, man, and they're doing so well. Arnett Gardens usually does well in the regular season. It's usually the playoff that they start to struggle.
Mount Pleasant is definitely a team that's a brand new phenomenon, but they're attempting to build their program and to become a traditional football name in the country. They're spending their money, they're improving their facilities, and they're focusing on youth development. So Mount Pleasant deserves to be exactly where they are, and I think we'll continue to hear from Mount Pleasant. And in 10 years, they'll be up there with the likes of the Waterhouses and the Harbourview. I promise you. Mount Pleasant a big team. They're probably the best one team in the whole country.
For sure. And finally, the game of the week. I feel like it's definitely the game of the week. Harbourview versus Waterhouse. Harbourview taking a 4-0 thrashing from Waterhouse. You're at that game, so just give us a quick insight before we leave the people.
The game of the week may well be
the Arnett game. Could be the Arnett game.
More Pleasant. That was an outstanding game, but the game that this or that Sports TV was at, where Waterhouse really just came out and they were comprehensive in their performance, checking all boxes, looking assured in every single position, looking like they were not in doubt any at all. And it's the introduction of the 17-year-old. I think he is the catalyst to their changes in fortune, because Waterhouse did not start the season particularly well. But since Romain Blake's introduction, they have completely overhauled it. They've completely turned it around. And it's so important having somebody who is so assured at the back, who is technically gifted enough to help in the attack. And one of the first goal that Romain Howell would have scored. Ramon Howell, my apologies, would have scored a cracker of a goal that was the goalkeeper probably should have done better, considering that Harbourview are currently trying to patch their goalkeeping woes, considering Amal Knight recently left for an international contract. So this is not their goalkeeper. This is not the goalkeeper that they would have loved to have in this game. Had it been Amal Knight, I think that first goal would have been saved. I think the goalkeeper should have done better. But to the point that I was trying to make, Blake, he was the one who pushes it forward and makes that cutting pass straight into the midfielder, straight into the attack line. And I think that's so invaluable, and most teams don't have that. and Blake possesses that ability to do that for his team. And I think that's why Waterhouse's fortune has changed. Just the interjection of one standout individual.
There we go. People, it's another episode of Studio Talk. 1 hour fly by so fast, man. Those are our 3 topics. You know, we did some national team talk, then we did some domestic league talk. We spoke about some schoolboys, we spoke about the under-17 competition, we spoke about Reggae Boys, Reggae Girls. We did it all today. So really good show. I hope you guys watched all the way to the end. And if you watched all the way to the end, please leave a comment saying that you did. Say it there. Say watch to the end. You see it? People, before we leave you guys, if you like today's episode of Studio Talk, don't forget to like the video. Leave a comment on this one and subscribe to this side at Sports TV. One more thing though.
Share the video to at least 10 people, but ensure to get us 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, you know how many subscribers that get us by the end of the day, people?
A lot. There we go. This is another episode of Studio Talk. For now. So this is that Sports TV.
And we're out.
Yes, sir.